Laura Fifield. Preppers. Know this first. A disaster survivor's perspective. Introduction. First off, thank you for your curiosity. Prepping is an emotionally charged topic for many reasons. You can probably think of a few. This book is not designed to be an in-depth exploration of the subject, nor the reasons for foresight into prepping. It is a primer to offer insights from my experiences of getting through a disaster and what I wished I had known first as I traveled this path. I've been on this prepper train, hopping off and on in various seasons of my journey. You are feeling an urge and looking for solutions. My intention is to share my learning, mistakes and all, from the perspective of Mother Nature's surprise attack that bought my ticket onto the prepper train. The year was 1992 when Hurricane Iniki devastated the Hawaii island of Kauai. Those challenges in the aftermath laid a beginning to this subject. It is ironic that I began putting my thoughts to paper just a week before two major hurricanes struck the east coast of America. I have great empathy for their plight. I didn't experience the extreme flooding that North Carolina or Florida did. But bearing the terror from the ripping high winds, the pounding rain like a hammer on nails, and extreme uncertainty of how to recover washed over me from hearing the news. It stopped my writing for a bit. I cried. Still do at times, as their need brings it all back. However, it affirmed why I make prepping a lifestyle, and why I want to share what you need to know first. Those two first things that help you decide whether to skim over or dive deep into prepping. There are many trails toward the subject. It can be overwhelming if you consider doing it all, so consider this your primer. Your C-Spot Runs Introduction. I'm dating myself. In this book, I will mark tips on things that are mental notes for, okay, that's interesting. Also, endnotes for places to get more information for the know this first items we discuss. I will compile a list in the back of the book on several pages as a quick reminder. One to keep with the book for cogent reference, and others to tear out to post in the kitchen, in your car, or wherever as a guide or shopping list. Let's start. 3. 1 is none, 2 is 1. When setting yourself up to prepare for unexpected events, the essential tools need to be in doubles. Translation: if you have one can opener for your canned goods, if it breaks, then in reality, you have no can opener. By having a backup, a second one, you won't be hampered in feeding yourself or family. Die-hard preppers have backups of these types of things in multiple food stashes. Without your backup, you are left begging from neighbors or relying on stock being available during broken supply chains. This adds more stress to your already stressful situation. Some simple, low-cost essential items for this rule are can openers, as we discussed above. Lighters/matches for candles, fires, camp stoves, camp knife. This is a sturdy outdoor-style knife, multi-tool knife. I have several of these beauties. Useful every day. Key can openers, useful for poured canned goods. 1. Preppers. Know this first. Duct tape holds and repairs a myriad of things. Batteries 1A and AA9V, D. See not as much, but check your devices. Emergency radio. Again the rule, and for other family members. These are the basics. You will adjust to your needs and circumstances. However, know this first, you'll be frustrated without them. We had been tracking the hurricane, assured at bedtime that the monster of wind and water was going to pass our island of Kauai by. At morning light, we were awoken by a police megaphone telling us to shelter in place. Newscasts told us to prepare for a high-intensity hurricane, Cat 3 or 4 impact in a few hours. Schools and stores were closed. Kauai's main road traveled along the shoreline, and police were clearing anyone off it with demands to go home. Tourists were directed to hallways in their hotels, and schools opened as emergency shelter for those who felt more vulnerable. The impact was horrendous. Iniki had made a sharp turn in the middle of the night. What was supposed to miss an island approximately the size of Houston, Texas, was now headed to engulf it. Its dead center. I had experienced small earthquakes in California, changing a tire in fact when one hit, but a hurricane, everything flies in high winds and floods from rain. In that early morning light, we scurried to do what we thought we should. Masking tape on windows in crisscross pattern, tied down patio furniture, and anything loose outside that could fly through the air. The winds picked up more ominously. Rain began to fall, and soon it felt like pellets flying. We had to hide. Hunkered in a closet. 2. 1 is none, 2 is 1. Under as much as possible, it sounded like a freight train rolling over the roof. You never dream that wind and rain can make such horrendous noise. Rumble, shake, rip and crash. Eyes closed, imagination wild, hoping the structure around me would protect. That noise was 3/4 of the roof being rolled up and tossed into the vacant jungle beside the property. When it was over and assessment made, it was nothing I could have predicted. The sofa was picked up and stuffed vertically down a spiral staircase. Huge shards of blown-out glass protruding horizontally into the walls. Walls caved in. Cupboard doors torn off with everything on the floor mixed with spilt condiments, as if finger painting with refrigerator contents. Trees twisted at their trunks from micro-tornadoes within the storm. Roof shingles driven into solid block concrete. You couldn't pull them out, only cut them flush, marking the event with their remains. First you cry, then you find your loved ones and observe what's intact. Our neighbors suffered less damage. We could take refuge with
them. Try to rest. Try.
Next day would begin cleanup. Have cash. It was lucky that I had $75 cash in a dresser drawer. When roads were cleared into Kapaa, the devastation was magnified. Ice, preserved by backup store generators, was $20 a bag. No change given. If all you had was a $100 bill and no one would exchange bills with you, guess what? Either bought 5 bags or went without. That is extreme, of course. But you get the picture of how an after-disaster economy begins to work. The grocery store left standing with an operable generator had police in the parking lot and at the entrance. Only 10 people could go in at a time to get whatever was on the shelf and in a restricted quantity. No hoarding. No credit card or checks, only cash. Again, you may or may not get change depending on what they had. I can't say it enough. Cash in small denominations. $1 bill denomination will be useless with hyperinflation. Ready to be truly prepared? Check out Preppers. Know This First, A Disaster Survivor's Perspective by Laura Fifield. Available in Kindle edition on Amazon now.